Okay. Somebody say something so I know you're out there.
I'm here.
Hi, this is Tony.
Oh, hi. Now I hear you guys. Great. So there's a couple other people that will be joining us, I suspect, but we'll go ahead and get started. Let me check with one of you. Can you see my screen where it says Lead Generation Bootcamp?
Absolutely, I can see your screen.
Great. So let's rock and roll.
Please enter your conference ID and press the pound key.
I'm getting some gargly sounds from someone. So
Yeah, someone's trying to dial in now. I'm going to mute my phone.
Please enter your conference ID and press the pound key.
Yeah, one of the joys of working together like this is we're going to have a lot of muted phones for an hour. And whoever's shuffling paper, shuffle quietly, please. So, a few things about using Join Me. You probably figured out the phone thing, so that's good. Here's how we're going to handle questions today. Just ask them. Just interrupt and ask questions. There's going to be a lot of content. We're going to jam it all together. Some really great stuff. And if you're not following it or want to see how that applies to a particular situation, feel free to just jump right in. Also, I'll be sending out this week's recording and last week's recording first thing tomorrow morning. I apologize. It got stuck in my outgoing mail file, and that was the end of that. Okay. Hang on. Randy's trying to get in and needs the URL. Okay, so let's start with some quick introductions. We didn't have a chance to do this last week because we weren't connected. So let's see, I'll take them in order here. Kelly, you want to go first and just do a quick name, company, location, like what city you're in, and whatever you want to say by way of a brief intro. That would be great.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
Okay, great. Hi, my name's Kelly Gargis. I work under the name Stratos Wealth Partners. I'm an independent contractor, and Stratos is a RIA affiliated with LPL. And I'm in Powell, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. And brief intro, I've been on my own now since March of this year, and I'm just starting a practice focused on women executives and holistic kind of family wealth practice.
Great, thanks very much, Kelly. Carrie, are you on?
Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm from Kelly Financial. We're located in Braintree, which is in Massachusetts, south of Boston. And we're a financial services and retirement planning company.
Great. Anything else you want to say for a brief intro? Okay, we'll move on to Randy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. The computer I was still working well. I can almost hear you, but
Randy, you're breaking up.
You're not.
Randy, you're completely breaking up. Can't understand the word you're saying. Check out your speakers or your microphone. We'll come back to you. Let's see. Then I have a bunch of no-name people. All right, we'll just keep going here. So Hang on. Got all right. Great. So last week there was homework to develop 10 questions that you get asked all the time. And assuming you've done your homework, we're going to be working with those questions today. So sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. There we go. So given the homework you did, share with us some ideas you have or questions, insights, whatever. Were you surprised at how easy it was to come up with questions? Was it hard to come up with questions? Did you have any insight as you listed all your questions? Someone just jump in.
This is Kelly. I was going to say that it was fairly easy. I think the 10 questions was a good number. I could have gone on probably for a whole page, but I think the surprising thing was how common the questions probably are in this industry.
Yeah, I'm sure that's likely to be true. And it's a great idea to keep a list like by your phone or right on your desk where you can add more questions as people ask them. You'll see why as we go on. That's just a hot tip I'll share now. Who else would like to say something about the homework? Okay, I'll assume everybody's happy then. Moving on. So the reason we have these 10 questions is because these are the things people ask you all the time. And what you want to do is come up with 10 answers eventually, but let's focus on one answer for the moment to one question that solves their problem and connotes your expertise. So this answer could be in the form of a checklist. It could be a report, a video, an ebook. Maybe you have an economic update you could share that answers the question. Maybe there's a slide deck you can share. So the benefit of doing this is that you'll be able to have something at hand that answers whichever question you're working on, but answers that question for your prospect. And you probably have stuff like this. I'm not a big proponent of going out and creating content if you don't have to. Reuse what you've got. So if you have a checklist that you use that answers one of the questions, use that. If you have a report that you use that. Here's a really great idea. If you have nothing, what do? Well, you've got 10 questions. Write 3 sentences or 4 sentences answer for each of the questions. Package that up as an FAQ and use that. So there's lots of ways to do this that are where you've got materials at hand, or you can quickly create materials that you can use to answer these questions. And ultimately, the idea is to develop these kinds of materials for all 10 of those questions. But pick one, and we'll start with it. So that's part of what we're going to look at today is how do we start with it? So a couple things to think about as you're deciding which question you're going to use and what content you're going to use to answer that question. So make sure, first of all, that your content really does answer that question. It's not just pablum that you're putting out there because that's what you've already done. Make sure it answers this specific question you're working on. Think about what the benefits of having that answer would be. And in your business, there's definitely an emotional benefit. So think about that. Can you relax now that you have that answer? Are you more knowledgeable and excited about moving ahead? Think about the emotions that people have when you give them that answer and package that in with some of the benefits of this. We'll talk about how to show your benefits in a minute. Why does the viewer need this information now? Is that question even germane to being the first time on your website? Maybe it's not. People have asked me a lot of weird questions. And you want to steer those back to the questions that you want to be answering. And then think about, how does the user get the information you're going to give them to answer the question? Do they download it? Is it on a page on your website? Is it coming by email? How do they get that information? So those are some things to be thinking about as we move through this conversation today. And I call this Knock Knock Who's There, because we're going to find out who's visiting our website and what they're interested in. That's the whole purpose of doing this. You saw this diagram last week. We talked very quickly about it. We're going to dig into some detail here. So we're going to talk first of all about calls to action. What are calls to action? Well, it's simply telling people what to do next. People come to your website, there's a lot of stuff there, and they want to know, what should I do? So we're going to tell them what to do. And I've pulled up a few examples of different kinds of call to actions. It can be as simple as a button like click here to download, or it could be as complex as a button on top of a background image with some text and everything like investing made personal. But let's look at a couple of these so you can see how they work. So if we go to the Living Well blog, which will come up in just a second here. We can see that, yes, there's a call to action here at the top to learn more. That's not what I'm talking about. So let's scroll down a little more. What I'm talking about is this call to action. Sign up for our Living Well blog. So we can put in our address, click sign up, and I bet we're going to get an email welcoming us as a weekly or monthly recipient of their blog posts. So that's a very simple call to action. It's very common. If you have a blog on your website, you probably have something like that happening already. Let's look at another one. Investing Made Personal. That comes from Personal Capital. They've done something kind of interesting. They've got an offer to schedule your consultation right at the very top of the first page. So if you come to their website and you're ready to go, fine, you can schedule your consultation. But I suspect most people come to this website and want to look around a little bit, get familiar, find out more about Personal Capital. How personal is it? I don't know. Let's read some more. Here are the different steps to happen if I click the sign up button. That's nice. Here's my financial planning, and I can get started. My fee structure, sign up now, it's free. So these are all different calls to action. These are not necessarily what I'm talking about right now. They're not bad at all. I'm not saying that. But this is not what I'm talking about in terms of answering people's questions. Let's take one more look over at resources. I'm looking for another kind of call to action. Nope. Okay, moving on. This one I really like, Da Vinci Well. These guys have calls to action every which way for Sunday. So here we are at the home page of Da Vinci Well. There's two that come to right at the top of the screen. Schedule a complimentary 60-minute office consultation strategy session. And when I mouse over that, this popped up. Complete this form to download the guide to choosing the right advisor for your retirement. What a great idea. So this is the kind of offer that would answer the question, how do I know who to choose to help me out here? And just because they've got a picture of a book there does not mean there's going to be a book. It's going to be a PDF guide. It's probably going to be 6 to 12 pages. It's not going to be a book. But it looks like a book. It looks all official here, and I want to get the guide. They're telling me exactly what to do. I fill out my email address, first and last name and phone number. and click Get the Guide. All right, hot tip, don't put phone number in here. The reason why is, if you ask for phone number, I think you're going to call, and I may not be ready to engage yet. This may be my first visit to your website. So,
Larry,
yeah.
are there any statistics talking about people or who plugs in real information and who plugs in fake information just to get the data?
Well, they've got to give you a valid email address to get the thing. So even if I say my name is Jimmy John and my email is larry.levinson@gmail.com, you've got an email where you can reach me. And
Okay,
if that
so
email comes out and says, "You're Jimmy," oh well.
Some places will just let you see it. Once you plug it in, it'll, you close it out and you see the guide. So you're saying that in order for them to receive, they're going to email you the guide, and that's how you're going to get it versus just
Right.
plugging this in and it'll pop up. Okay.
Right. Yeah, for that very reason. We don't want Mickey Mouse seeing our guide.
Yeah.
We want, at minimum, a valid email address. So if you really want this, you'll get it. The people who are the Mickey Mouse people are probably your competitors, trying to see what you're up to. And that's okay. They can put in their email address and get a copy of it, so what? They don't understand how to use this technology that I'm showing you anyway. Okay, great question. So that's the kind of call to action I'm talking about. Here's a simpler version of that, which it will help us understand better how this whole process works. So the same book, right? And it says click here to download. But I'm not really going to get it when I click. What I'm going to get is, slowly, a landing page. Okay, let's talk about a landing page. This is such a great example. So this page is different. It's also kind of long, but it's different from the page we were just on in that it doesn't have a navigation system. I came here, and I'm now here with only one thing I can do, if this is done well. Click here is free. So what I would have done differently here is put a form right here. You could fill out the form right here and not make them click again. But the idea is, here we've got an emotional question. Do you worry? You're worried, you should get this 5 simple steps. Click here, it's free. That's a benefit, free. And then over here on the right, it talks about the different benefits that I'm going to get by downloading this and how I'm going to get more comfortable, going to be able to do more things in retirement by understanding what's in this great report. So other than not having a form right on this page, this is not a bad landing page at all. Again, click here, it's free, get my report now, leads me to the same place. There's 3 different ways to get there, but they all go to the same place. And here's my disclosure statement, and that's that. Great example of a landing page. Questions? All right. So those are some examples of calls to action. Now, what if you either don't have a website yet, or you can't access your company's website? They just don't let you go in and add stuff to the website. Well, one's response to that can be use email. Put a call to action in your email. That'll send people to a landing page. Remember, you don't have access to your website in this scenario, but you can build a quick landing page on Unbalanced, Lead Pages, or Wix. And they're all free for trials, and I believe Wix is free, period. But check them out. You can even find easy ways to do it, like for Wix. If you Google for Wix landing page templates or Unbalanced landing page templates, you'll find all kinds of examples. These are all platforms that are really easy to use, really simple, very quick. You don't have to be a web developer to make this happen. It's a drag and drop kind of universe. And you can build a landing page with a form right there, and they can get your offer. So, questions about calls to action?
So you're saying, would you mind going back a slide?
Sure.
So you're saying that by using email, you're saying when you send your email, there should be a link or something in there that would send people to your landing page? Or are you saying, so you're just saying like in your signature line or something, there should be a click that allows you to capture that? Is that versus, or if you don't have a web page, it sends people to something that tells more about you? Is that what you mean by using email?
Here's yes to that, and I put this here for a little different purpose, because if you don't have a website, you can still do this by email. And yes, if you do have a website, you can also still do this by email. So I would definitely start including links to landing pages in the emails that you send to your prospects.
Okay, so and I'm not familiar with what I know. I saw what you meant by the landing page on the earlier screen, but so I apologize for my ignorance here. But so when you say, when I send an email to a prospect, I have some sort of link in there, and I use a service, and I'll look up this Unbounce and Wix and all this stuff. So you're saying in that email, if they click on the hyperlink, it'll then take them to a page that could be utilized for gathering information that's like a website, but not.
Exactly. Well, it actually is. It's a one-page website, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah, exactly right. So any other questions about calls to action? Because I want to spend some time on landing pages, but I want to make sure we're clear about what a CTA is first. Okay. Let's talk about landing pages. So again, prospect comes to the website, they see a call to action, they go, oh, that sounds like it might answer my question. They click it, they go to a landing page, and there, whoops, you can capture their information. So a landing page, think of it as a place to capture visitors' information through a form, and it's where visitor lands after clicking on a call to action. Very simple. Some people use the words landing page differently and call your home page on your website the landing page because people land there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a very specific page like the one you saw a few minutes ago, designed for one thing. Fill out the form and submit it. That's a landing page in the way we're using the term. So a good landing page, now we're getting to some best practices. A good landing page tells the viewer four things very, very quickly. Don't make it as long as the one we looked at. Very quickly. What's being offered? And what's in it for me? What are the benefits of the offer? What am I going to get that I'm going to think is wonderful? Why am I going to be delighted if I download this thing, if I click through to this thing, whatever? And why do I need it now? Is it only available for a certain period of time? Maybe, maybe not in your industry. The maybe it is would be like if you get, for example, a weekly report from wherever you get your data and updates from. If you get a weekly report, it may be that they can download this week's report now. So it's urgent because it's this week's. Of course, next week it would be next week's. There's a little maintenance involved in setting that up, but whatever. What do they get? Sorry. How do they get the offer? Fill out this form and we'll email it to you in 2 minutes. Very easy. So make sure you answer these 4 questions on your landing page. Let's look at a few. So here's a landing page from Valaro. I just picked some of these landing pages at random not because they're part of your industry, but because they display certain things that I wanted to point to. And I don't need to talk through each of these items. They're fairly self-explanatory, except this item down here that says subscribe to our newsletter. This is optional. Some people think it's a great idea. Some people don't. I'm generally in favor of it, but you can try it both ways and see what your audience likes. But the idea is that at the bottom of the form, you have an option to subscribe. In this case, it's subscribe to our newsletter. And that option comes pre-checked. So the default mode is I'm going to put in my first name, last name, my email address, and my company, because they all seem to be required on this form. And then pre-checked is subscribe to your newsletter, which is easy. I don't have to do anything. And I click download now. So two things just happened. One, I get the thing that you promised with the download. And two, you're now sending me your newsletter on a regular basis. So I like that approach. I think it will work well in your industry. Test it and see. My experience is if you don't pre-check it, almost no one will check it. Now that doesn't mean you couldn't subscribe them by a different call to action, a different landing page. But this way you get double value. Also included on this landing page, you'll see there's an image. I guess that's an image of the free guide. So it's, if you have an image or can make an image of the cover page of your thing, or a person holding your thing, or anything that connotes what they're getting, it doesn't have to be a picture of it. Anything that connotes what they're getting, it's good to have a picture there. Let's look at another example. Here's a very different kind of landing page. It's really, really simple. There's a headline, make up to $35 an hour. See how much you can make. That's a benefit. I can run this calculator right on this page and see how much money I can make driving for Uber. Oh, sorry, Lyft. And I can apply now right here on the same screen. Same concepts, simplified. All right, now we got that handled. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so anyway, on the right are the best practices. So you have a list of those on this slide. You can also go to this link and see the screen itself with this offer on it if you want to dig into more details on that. But it's the same way to do a landing page, just laid out a little bit differently. So putting this all together, a stranger has a problem or a question. They do a Google search to find an answer. They find you in the Google search. And it looks like from that little snippet of information that you have an answer. And holy cow, look, you're right in their community. So that's way better than finding someone in South Florida that has an answer. So now as a stranger, I click through, I review what you have to say. This looks like it's exactly the answer I need. So I click the call to action that's not already on the landing page. I submit the form, giving you my email address, and I get a link to download the information. The link usually comes in an email, as we discussed earlier. I also, in that email, it's a thank you. Hey, thanks for downloading our XYZ. Hope this answers the questions you have. If you feel like you'd like to chat, feel free to give me a call. And now you have a new prospect you can find. So you got a stranger, whoever's on their phone.
Larry, we got to figure out a way to mute everybody here because yeah, we got hold music. We've got that guy talking.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I got another one that needs to be muted. If you're on a cell phone, please mute yourself.
And my understanding was that
You guys, come on, just sit on a cell phone.
all that information from back at the time, the way
Wow.
update, and that it was
All right. So now you have a new prospect you can talk to, and you haven't done anything. You put this together the first time, and people just come to it. So this is like a salesperson that works for you 24 hours a day. People can come in the middle of the night and get your offer. They can come tomorrow morning on the bus on the way to work. They can come tomorrow afternoon on the way home from work. They can come over their lunch break. They can come from the office. They can do it on their cell phone. It's cool. And you get all these new leads. Questions? Landing page questions. That means you have to unmute yourself so you can answer the question. Okay. If someone thinks of a question along the way, feel free to interrupt. So, a couple statistics. Whoever's on this phone is not muted, please mute. And if you're in an office that's noisy, please mute. Thank you. Companies with 30+ landing pages generate 7 times more leads than those with 1 to 5 landing pages. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, does that mean you have 30 offers? Well, over time, that would be excellent. But that's not going to happen today. That's not going to happen tomorrow. That's not going to happen the next day. So, start with 1 landing page, 1 offer. And then look at the next question that you had, the most frequently asked questions, and develop some content to answer that. That's a separate landing page. So if you go through this exercise with your 10 questions, you'll eventually have 10 landing pages. Again, probably not tomorrow. But if you did 1 a week, in 10 weeks, you'll have 10 landing pages. Then you'll either have more questions and can apply more content to it, or create another landing page, not the same, different content, to offer the same, to answer the same question. So you can offer the same ebook or the same report, just word the landing page completely differently, make it look different, word it differently, and you have now an extra landing page. So 30, if you look like in terms of a year or 18 months, 30 is really doable. Here's another tip. If you have videos readily available, use them on landing pages. Huge impact of a video. And I'm talking about a 30 to 60-second video. Hi, my name's Larry. I'm excited that you came to find out about my XYZ. Please fill out the form and download it, right? I look forward to talking to you about it. Thanks so much. Have a great day. A real quick video. If you have it available, if you can do those. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you can, it's really, really powerful. So, we talked a little bit ago about email and links and all that. Going back to this diagram from last week, slightly modified, how do you attract people to your landing pages? Well, you can use all these different media. You could put a sticker at your business card that says, get your free copy of my FAQ. Click at this URL. You could be doing some speaking around town and include that as a free gift. If they just go to this URL, they'll get your thing. You can obviously promote it in social media. You can promote it in email. You can promote it in print advertising. You can use pay-per-click if you want to direct this offer towards a particular audience on Facebook, for example, or on LinkedIn, for example. So there's lots of ways to attract people to this landing page that you're going to create. You're not just stuck with putting up a landing page and waiting until it gets found. If you wait for Google, you'll be waiting a long time. Go ahead and use some of these other methods to bring people to your landing page. You could even do an email out to your clients saying, hey, I just posted this new thing, wanted to get your feedback on it. Would you be willing to click and go there? That starts it. They'll see, oh, that's a great ebook. That's a great checklist. I'm going to give it to my neighbor because I was just talking to her yesterday about wealth management. So you'll be surprised what happens. But you can use all these different methods to promote your landing page. And I would use as many as work for you. So this new method of internet marketing we're talking about is converting strangers to visitors and visitors to leads. And that's where we're at in the process at the moment.
Sure, hold on one moment, please.
Some hot tips. On your landing page, we did not see this, by the way, on any of the landing pages we looked at. On your landing page, include social media sharing buttons. Why? Someone might click one and share this on their Twitter account or their Facebook account. Perfect. Are you going to get a lot of people doing that? No. But one person could make a huge difference in the number of leads you get this week just by sharing it once on Facebook. You should share your landing pages on social media often. What's often mean? It's up to you. Depends on the platform you're using. It depends on exactly who your audience is. Weekly, too much. Twice a week might not be too much. I don't think I'd go more than that. And ongoingly. So just because you shared it this week doesn't mean you shouldn't share it again next week, next month, 3 months from now, etc. You got to keep sharing it. And even if you post the exact same thing a month from now, no one's going to know it's the exact same thing.
Well, you know what we should do? What you and Chris and I should do? We should.
And the last thing we're going to work on next week is setting up a lead nurturing campaign to follow up and engage with your newly converted lead. So I'm a new lead to you. I've downloaded something that answers a question. You can send me a thank you email. And then ideally, 2 or 3 days later, you're going to send me another email, and this can all be automated for free on a platform like MailChimp. I'm going to talk about email marketing next week. You're going to send me another email that says basically, if you like this, if you like that, you'll like this. And it's another one of the answers to those 10 questions. Or another way to do it, I have a client that put together a string of 10 emails. One goes out every 3 days, and each one answers a question about his practice. And they just go out, and the answer's right there, and you don't even have to click. Now, disadvantage is you don't get the clicks, hard to measure traffic, hard to measure what's happening. The advantage is it's really easy for people. It just comes every 3 days in his case, twice a week really. And it just keeps coming. Say, I've had enough and unsubscribe, or in his case, they pick up the phone call and say, hi, you sent me the answer to this question. I want to know more. Tell me more. There's another way to do it. Again, we'll talk about email marketing next week. But you want to think about some kind of email campaign to go after they download whatever it is your offer. However, get your offer up first, get your landing page built, make it live, and start telling people about it. We can always build email campaigns later. This will start working as soon as you have a landing page up and tell people about it. And by working, I mean generating leads for you. I love this comment. What fits your busy schedule better, doing marketing for an hour a day or having no business growth for years? And realistically, if you're a solopreneur or if you're responsible for your own marketing and no one's going to help you with it, this may take an hour a day. This may take 5 hours a week. It may take 3 hours a week. But it's not going to take half a day every day. It is going to take some amount of time. And I recommend you put it on your calendar and just schedule it. This is my marketing hour, or my marketing 30 minutes, maybe even 30-minute chunks. But if you did even 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that's obviously 2.5 hours of marketing, which might be way better than what you're doing right now. So yes, it'll take time, and no, it doesn't need to be a lot of time. All right, questions? Okay, either you've all gone to sleep, or I'm so good I've answered every question before it even came up. Neither of which do I think is true.
I'm assuming, Larry, these landing pages, that's something that, obviously I saw that on the one, it had all the disclosures and stuff on it. So these should be treated the same as any other marketing we would put out there, correct? It's not any different.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you have a model for that, and I bet you do, in your office, use that model, because that'll put it through compliance faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, when I say go build it on Wix or whatever, yeah, you can go build it there, but you'd best not be releasing it until it's gone through compliance. Good question. And what else? Okay, you guys are all.
With something like
Go ahead.
this, oh, sorry. With something like this, when you say it, and I've not used this before, so do you get a list at the end of the week that says these are the people that have filled out the form, or every time somebody fills out the form or plugs in their information, do you have to go back to that landing page and to gather that data, or do they send you an email and says, here's another person that clicked in?
Great question. What I would do, I mean, yes, either of those scenarios could work, but to me, the easiest is every time someone fills out the form, you get a notification email.
Okay.
And the notification email can be real simple. Larry Levinson filled out the form for a free widget, and the date's already in the email, the time's already in the email, so it could be that simple.
Got it.
Some of those tools will also compile them so you can go back over time and like download a spreadsheet, get fancier about it. But I like to know right up front, am I getting traffic? Is this working? So I like to see those emails come rolling in, even if ultimately I go back and get the spreadsheet to hook it into MailChimp or whatever. Other questions? All right. So the key here, just to recap, you want to develop an offer, an answer to a question that answers one of the 10 questions you wrote down. And you don't want to reinvent the wheel doing it. So pick a question that you wrote down that's asked a lot, and you have something already created that you can work with as an answer. Could be a slide deck, could be a video, could be a report, could be a checklist. Doesn't matter what it is, what format it's in, it doesn't matter. As long as it answers the question well, use that. I'm a big believer in what I call evergreen content. Just like those trees that are always green, this content's always going to be there and is always going to have a certain audience that wants the answer to that question. And that's why we started with 10 questions. Because next year, people are going to be asking you the same 10 questions. And the year after that, people are still going to be asking you the same 10 questions. So that offer that you're putting together now, that landing page you're putting together now, that effort that you're putting forth now, is going to keep paying off for several years to come. Maybe forever, whatever that means. Depends on what the longevity of that question is. But find a way to repurpose some existing content wherever possible. That could be text, slides, video, a report. If you can't come up with anything else, make a checklist. Here are the 10 most frequently asked questions with the answers. And the answers I'm talking about here are not full-page answers. This is not a 10-page wonderful ebook, although it could be if you have time to put that together. But best to start with 2, 3, 4 sentence answer. But make sure it does answer the question. And then you can always say at the bottom, you could probably answer 10 questions on one page. You could probably say at the bottom of it, for more information, feel free to give me a call. So please don't reinvent the wheel. All right, so after that little discussion, you're not going to be surprised with the homework. So the homework is to develop an offer. Find something you can reuse that's already available, slides, ebook, checklist, etc., any format, and create a call to action and a landing page for that. Keep it simple. This does not need to be the best ever ultimate landing page. No, this is your first shot out. Keep it simple. Don't worry a lot about best practices. Just worry about getting something out there. And yes, that means going through compliance. So no, I'm not expecting I'm going to see landing pages from everybody next week that are operational anyway. If I'll make you an offer. I'm making you an offer. Let me make you an offer. You'll love this offer. If you want me to look at your landing page before you even send it to compliance, I'm not looking from a compliance point of view. I'm looking from a marketing point of view. I would be happy to give you feedback on it. So all you have to do is screenshot it or make a PDF or whatever is easy for you and send it to me. I'll look it over and get back to you with any thoughts I have on it. Okay, so that's the homework. Develop an offer. So find one of those questions to work with, develop an offer, and create a call to action on the landing page. And in most cases, that means send the whole thing through compliance. Gave you a different list of resources this week. I actually highly recommend all of these. I've tried to include some different kinds of things. So how to make a PDF ebook from Google Slides or with PowerPoint slides, same thing. Really useful, quick YouTube. I think it's 9 minutes or something. But you can make a slide deck really fast and turn it into an ebook with this guy's technique, and it works. What's it called? The social action and why? Sorry, what's it called? To action and why do you need one? Great article on telling people what to do. 31 call to action examples. You can't help but click. A little fancier, a little more high end maybe, but it'll expand your thinking on what you could do with a call to action. 16 of the best landing page design examples you need to see. Speaks for itself what that is. How to design and optimize landing pages. That's an ebook. So if you want to get more in depth with this, that would be the one to go to. If you want a quick glance at some examples, I'd use the link above that. And finally, since I promised that there's ways here to get lots of leads really quick, Kissmetrics is an outstanding website run by some marketing guys who always win awards. They're the ones everybody goes to with their marketing issues. How to get 60 leads in 24 hours with a landing page in a LinkedIn group. And Neil goes through point by point how to do this. I will warn you, it's a longish article. And it won't be the first 24 hours because you're going to spend some time setting up his process. However, if you do this, this will definitely work. I mean, this is, his thing is incredible. So I highly recommend that. If you're looking for leads right now, it's worth taking some time over the weekend to set this up, get it in place, kick it off on Tuesday next week. Why did I not say Monday? Because Monday people are getting back to work. They're not going to be as receptive to your social media. They're not going to be as receptive to your emails as they will be on Tuesday. So if you could get something like that set up and launched on Tuesday, you will be a very happy camper when we talk next Thursday. So those are some resources. That's not homework. Kissmetrics thing is not homework. It's just to show you one way you can expand this idea and really drive traffic. Next week, we'll be looking at email marketing best practices and explore email blasts versus email campaigns. How to turn these leads that are getting your first download to answer some question they have, how to convert those into really high quality leads and people that want to talk to you and want to talk to you now. So that's next week with email marketing. Again, if you have questions, if you want to schedule time to get together, my office hours are there. It hasn't changed since last week. Please feel free to use that. And last chance at questions before we close off the afternoon.
Did you say do we have access to these slides, Larry, or is that something you're
Yes.
making available? Okay.
No, I'll send them out to you. I'm going to send them as a PDF so that it's more easily usable than having to go into PowerPoint and blah, 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 blah. But they'll come out to you as a PDF very shortly, just like they did last week. I'm hoping
Okay.
you got this last week.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the slides will come out. Yeah, because you need all those links. And I'm not expecting you to write them down as fast as I'm talking. So those will come out as a kind of thank you for being on the webinar today very, very shortly. Other questions? Okay. Well, I'm glad we all learned how to mute our phones. That was useful. And next week, we shouldn't have that problem. We're going to talk about email marketing. And I will see you at the same time on the same platform next week. Join.me/AlaneseMarketing. I'll send you out email reminders again, and we'll continue next week. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.